Welcome to Jags Drive Time with Ashlyn Sullivan, John Oehser, and Brian Sexton. Jags Drive Time starts right now.
Welcome in Jaguars Drive Time. It is June 14th. We are live here on a Tuesday as it is the week of mandatory minicamp for veterans, but it looks a little different this year. This is our last drive time of the offseason as we all get ready to take a little break here for summer, about a month away from the stadium. And when we come back, we're really getting going.
Yeah, we are.
You don't seem excited about that, you two.
It's about 5 weeks away, and I'll be excited on July 23rd or 4th.
Well, I mean, this is that time of the year where you do kind of unplug a little bit. And everybody out there has a busy job and a busy life. And the NFL just seems to be nonstop. I mean, for
Especially
all the years that we've done this, it has just expanded to fill, February, when the Super Bowl's over, all the way until now, and it picks right back up at the end of July, and away it goes again. There's a lot of people who are starting to think about getting a little time away. But I'm like John. I mean, watching this team on the field yesterday, even in a rookie camp, I'm excited about some of these kids. I'm excited to see, this coaching staff in particular. This coaching staff has really, really impressed me, and I can't wait to see how they run training camp.
Yeah, and the coaching staff, and I talk to people and they say, oh, well, why are you so busy in the offseason? I said, well, look what this team has been through the past couple of years. Bringing in a new coaching staff, it's a lot of work, but you just see how much smoother it has been this offseason. It's just a totally different world than where we were a year ago. And it's just, I think, canceling the veteran minicamp is a great example of that.
Yeah, I was asked the other night when I was out, what do you do for money when they don't have games? And I said, well, frankly, I can't share that. But it is a busy off season. But overall, you hate to sit here every year and say how good it looks in the off season because people are tired of hearing it.
Oh yeah.
But Doug Peterson, you can see why, Brian, he was able to overcome adversity in Philadelphia on his way to Super Bowls. There's a calmness. There's I've been there before attitude. Think about it. He lost Carson Wentz, went to the Super Bowl that year. They overcame tough starts and made the playoffs 2 times in a row. That doesn't mean the Jaguars can do that because they've still got to prove they can do that. But to me, that's what an NFL coach does. He makes players believe in him. You can certainly see why players believe in this.
Have you read the book yet? Or is that on the plan between now?
That's on the plan.
It is so worth it. I mean, it just gives you.
I read some of it a couple years back.
It gives you really good appreciation for him. It underscores and highlights the things that you're already seeing. So, sorry, I can't. He's not paying me to plug the book as much as I do. I just, of all the books I've read
You're
about
a fan,
coaches,
yeah.
The book explains everything.
I think he's doing okay without book reviews.
I was going to say, yeah, he probably is.
All right, let's get into big things. Big thing one is see you in July, our last week here in the building, our last drive time of the offseason before everyone takes a much-needed break for summer. This week has looked a little different than years past for veteran mandatory minicamp, and Coach Peterson explains why he dismissed the veterans a little early.
No, it's all based on what they've done. I've done this kind of thing in the past, but at the same time, I wanted to see this group work together. It wasn't final until, just within the last week or so for me to make the decision. And again, these guys have worked extremely hard. They've earned it. They deserve it. And we got done as a staff what we needed to get done, and we'll get ready for camp.
Big thing two is sparkles, glitters, rainbows, you name the adjective to describe first round overall pick Travon Walker, who is impressing everyone in this building. All he had to do was step on the football field to do that, and defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell is high on the list.
You think about the size, his height, his weight, his speed, it's like a unicorn. He's unique, and he plays that way, and you see it on tape. You see the burst, you see the speed, see the moves he has, so we're excited about him, and I think he'll be ready to roll.
And finally, big thing three is what does he have? What does he got? Question mark. That is running back Travis Etienne, and so many questions around this guy. And our biggest question, will he have that explosive speed that we saw in college after facing this major injury? Offensive coordinator Press Taylor thinks so.
Yeah, the speed's real. I mean, that was obviously something everybody knew coming out of college, not having a chance to see a lot of the stuff he was able to do last year because he wasn't able to play. So the speed's very real. He did a good job of just showing understanding of the different roles we're trying to see. And we're throwing him in all different positions just to see, what he's comfortable with, what he needs to work on as we move forward, give him plans moving into the offseason or moving further into summer, coming back from training camp. But he's been really receptive to everything. He's shown, an ability to grasp a lot of different things and show that he's capable of doing things.
And there you have it. Those are big things. Let's go back up to big thing one.
I want to get to big thing two, Shalane. If you don't mind. Sparkles?
Yeah. Glitter, rainbows, unicorn. You see the...
I don't know what nickname we're going to give him, but I'm not going to be the one to walk up and call him
Hey,
Sparkles.
Sparkles.
I mean, that might get me a good punch in the teeth.
Yeah, and he could punch you from a long way away because he's got big hands and long arms.
Hey, Sparkles Walker.
I think she just titled the segment
Okay, I got
Sparkles.
you.
Yeah,
right.
it's
I got
to
you.
To
join
play off
together with the
unicorn.
unicorn.
Okay, I thought we were trying to give
Yeah.
him a nickname.
Yeah.
That
No,
okay.
no.
Right.
Although, I mean, I won't lie to you. When I walked on the field the first time and I was 100 yards away from him and I saw him, my eyes sparkled. I went, whoa.
Well,
look
if he
at that.
wants to be called Sparkles, I have no problem. I just think
Yes,
we
he
probably
told
run
me
a
that,
bomb.
and
Okay.
that's why I put it in the
Just-
show.
I got him on the Ozone podcast tomorrow. I'll ask him if that's his game.
I heard you told Ashlyn
I heard you that.
you like your name to be Sparkles.
All right, big thing one.
Big
Sorry
thing
about that.
one. Veterans being released early. We were told this about 2 weeks ago that there was thoughts that this would happen. And keep in mind that OTA started early for this team, so the veterans have had an extra week of work on the field. When that happened, I thought, awesome move by Coach Peterson, but I also knew, oh my gosh, fans are going to freak out.
Well, but he also has the early week of training camp
Right.
because of
2
the Hall
extra
of Fame
weeks.
game. So it's calculated on a part, but he gave them these 3 days so they could start their vacation. They could start, having a little downtime away. It sends a really strong message to the players who really like this guy and like this coaching staff and like the way that they approach it.
You guys know where I'm going with this, but look. They also had a 3-day extra mini camp right before the draft, because he's a new coach. You have to remember when OTAs began way back in the day, they were much more spiritually voluntary than they are now. Now they're voluntary, but there's this implication of, well, boy, you better be there. So they had a veteran mini camp at the end that was mandatory to make sure these guys got some work. Well, these guys have already gotten some work. My understanding is it was close to 100% attendance, and Peterson was thrilled with the attendance throughout. So if that's the case, why do you need the 3-day mandatory? The 3-day mandatory was put in to make sure that the guys who didn't feel like coming in came in, got the work. They got their 3 days. They learned the offense. They got to look at it. This is about teaching and preparing for training camp. Yeah. They're not evaluating. What they do out there as an offensive guard is not going to make them a great offensive guard come
How often
September.
do we say we can't even evaluate those big guys?
So, whew. All right, Shalane.
Done.
There you have it. This team is in a much
I'm a
different
little worked up.
position.
I'm ready for lamping.
Yeah, this week, like for example, I saw it was on national news this morning that the DK Metcalf did not show up to mandatory minicamp, and we've seen that before where that's the headline is who doesn't show up to this part, and then you see for the Jaguars' sake almost 100% participation when they didn't have to be here. So that is why he let him go early.
Yeah,
Leave it at that.
It made
Well,
perfect
how many
sense.
times, by the way, has he said this spring, hey, it's voluntary. It's voluntary. He's explained that, right?
Yeah.
He said,
No
well, it's
hard
voluntary.
feelings if you're not here.
Right. He totally gets it. He let that card be played early so that the players knew that he understood and that he wasn't going to be that guy who goes, I still want you here even though it's voluntary. He wasn't going to play that game.
We've had that guy.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
All right, do you want to talk about Sparkles, or are you okay moving to Big Thing 3? I want to check with you before I
I'm
move.
good.
Well, he's got
I'm
the
a little out of
nickname
breath.
now no matter what you do.
I'm a little out of breath.
Okay. Big Thing 3, what's he got all about Travis Etienne and the questions we have with him, and looks great on the football field right now, is present, which is a win in itself that he's on the football field after that injury he faced. But Brian, you talk about it a lot. We won't really know till
Show me.
training camp, but for Press Taylor to say, yeah, I've seen the speed, it's there, that's the biggest question. But I don't know if we can truly tell that.
Well,
right now.
I watched, and I don't know. I mean, he's fast, but I don't know if he is what he was before the injury. And as you mentioned, it's something that I've been waiting to see, and I don't know that we'll see it until August.
Mm-hmm.
Can he get up after a rough day on the practice field and practice the next day, or does the foot need rest? We won't know. Does he look good? Well, yeah, he looks good. He was a first-round pick. But is he going to be what he's capable of being or was capable when they drafted him, we won't know.
Yeah, and he's such an X factor because even before the injury, we didn't see him very much last year, so he feels like a rookie coming in the sense that you're always wanting to see, can a rookie really do it in the pros like he did in college? So you have the wondering, is he what he was before the injury? Plus, if he's what he was before the injury, is that special in the NFL? Yeah. We don't know that yet, but I'll go the other route since we've already talked about the fact that you can't tell anything about him really until pads go on. Give him credit and give the doctors credit for this. A Liz Frank can be very, very serious. He had it last August, so it's what?
10 months.
7-8 months out when he first got back. Yeah. There could have been a scenario on this where, okay, he's going to come back during OTAs. He's not ready for the start of the offseason. Or he's going to come back during minicamp. He's not ready yet. Or he's going to come back during training camp. He has been as out there and as participating as he possibly can be. So far, so good. He's done everything he's supposed to do. There's no reason to think that he won't be fine.
And just to give that an underscore and a highlight, Corey Grant, you all remember Corey, broke his foot, did the Liz Frank in Kansas City.
Yeah, never got back to this point.
In October of 2018. Not just that, John, I never saw him again. Normally when guys are rehabbing, you see them around the building. I never saw him again, ever. The morning in Kansas City, the last time I saw him in October of 2018. So to have him out here on the field is a really encouraging sign. It's just, as John said, is he going to be special in the NFL? We have to see that before we can say,
I think he probably will be.
Oh, I mean, he's a chess piece.
We haven't seen it yet. Right.
He's that chess piece. You can get him moving all over the place. He has the chance to be. We just have to see it before we can say he's there.
Yeah, he'll be a huge storyline in training camp. Maybe the biggest storyline of training camp, and there are 100%. All right, that is big things when we come back on Jaguars Drive Time. Team President Mark Lamping joins the show to talk about that new football facility being built in the parking lot right now. Stay with us. Fans like you have been told that going all out is going too far. But fans like you know better. You're the kind of fan who loves the team as much as your pet, who paints yourself for game days and dyes your pet's fur to match. You are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The biggest stadium tour of the year comes to Jacksonville this summer. See rock and roll legends Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, Joan Jett, and the Blackhearts on July 2nd right here at TIAA Bank Field. Seats still available for the hottest concert of the summer. Visit Ticketmaster.com today.
On behalf of myself, General Manager Trent Baalke, all the coaches and players, we got to say thank you. Thank you for this great opportunity. To Miller Electric, Mr. Brown, for your commitment, long-standing commitment here in Jacksonville, and building what's going to be a state-of-the-art facility for any NFL organization. It's going to be cutting edge. We're looking forward to it as coaches, obviously, next summer, handing the keys over to us so that we can go in and get to work. And then to Mayor Curry, thank you for your commitment as well. It just goes to show the partnership that the Jaguars and the city of Jacksonville have. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And we're looking forward to getting this thing going.
Head coach Doug Peterson in attendance at the Miller Electric Center naming rights yesterday. You're taking a live look at that construction as team president Mark Lamping joins us now on Jaguars Drive Time. Good morning.
Good morning.
You brought your hat. We love that.
I did. It's a nice memento from a very significant day. That was a big announcement on Monday, and it means so many things on so many different levels.
Absolutely. And I think when we hear about this construction project and you see the magnitude of the construction project, you think, all right, this might take some time, but I am truly amazed every Monday when I walk into this building. You see progress. You see a difference in that football facility. It seems like it's moving really quickly.
Yeah, it's happening. The progress is visible literally every day, hour by hour. Great collection of subcontractors who are performing the work, really hard workers on site, and it's one of those things where you have to get it done on time. So we absolutely have to be complete by the end of June next year, about a year from now, so that when the team comes back for training camp, they can move right into the new facility. It'd be very disruptive for them to have to do that as it gets closer to the season or even in the middle of the season.
You said it yesterday, somebody said it yesterday, how significant it is to have a local company like Miller put their name on it. I can remember when those trailers were out there building this stadium, and there was a Miller Electric trailer. What's it mean to have a company like that, a local company, step up to the plate to help this whole effort?
Well, it goes way deeper than that. Miller Electric has their roots here in Jacksonville. They're almost a 100-year-old company, but they're a national company. They're known for their innovation in their field, and they're also they employ thousands of people across the country. They employ many people here in Jacksonville. They provide jobs. They're continuing to recruit and try to add to their workforce. But the other thing they have in common with the Jaguars is their real deep commitment to the community, and you see that in a lot of different ways. But the leadership of that organization, they're public servants. They have a long history. Ron Autry, Henry Brown, who's a stalwart, most recently head of the Jacksonville Chamber. So they care about the community. They put people to work, and they share Shad's confidence in the potential of downtown, and particularly development around the sports complex.
Beyond having the naming rights done on the facility, how important is it for the franchise and downtown just to have that facility going up? It feels like it's an overdue project.
Well, it unlocks a lot of other things. That's why at the time when we were fortunate enough to get approval for this project, I said it was something that's going to be really, really significant in the history of the Jaguars. The reason for that is it was the necessary first step for us to be able to really dig into the stadium of the future. What are we going to do to make sure that TIAA Bank Field meets the needs of our fans, of other stakeholders, of the universities of Florida and Georgia, the Gator Bowl, concert promoters? We have to make sure that this stadium can meet the needs of all of those parties going well into the future, so that we can achieve our ultimate goal, which is to ensure that there is NFL football here in Northeast Florida for generations to come.
Where is that stadium project right now?
We kicked it off about 2 years ago with the city of Jacksonville. We've gone through a series of necessary first steps. Again, some of them pretty boring, a full assessment of the stadium, but something really important came out of that, which is the structural systems within this stadium are in good shape, and that's an important finding, because it opens up the possibility for a renovation versus having to replace the facility. We then went to the next step of developing 3D drawings of the stadium as it exists right now. We have been communicating, with our fans. We've had well over 5,000 responses to a survey. Fans telling us those things that are important to them in the future stadium. And we actually, engaged a handful of sports architects to give us their ideas and concepts, and we're beginning to narrow that down. And if we can get to the point where we think we can come up with a design that meets the needs of our customers, that meets the needs of the other stakeholders, that meets the needs of Jaguars and our employees. We're here every day. And then we can begin to get some idea of what something like that might cost. Then we're in a position to really dial up our conversation with the city. The city's been involved from the beginning. I feel really comfortable about the working relationship, that we have. And, again, this is a really, really important first step, the Miller Electric Center. And now we can really get into probably the more important issue, which is how do we make sure we have a stadium that's going to meet the needs of all involved for decades to come.
Mark, you've been involved with an incredible amount of this kind of construction. Built MetLife, or were heavily involved with MetLife. How different is a potential renovation than building? How much more complicated?
Well, it's cheaper to renovate than to build new.
Right.
You don't have to go find another site. You don't have to, repeat all the infrastructure that's necessary to support a new stadium site. So it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
It is more complex, particularly when you're trying to take a 30-year-old building and get it state of the art.
Because there's retrofitting, I guess, and that sort of thing.
So many things have changed, and you have so much that's embedded into this building. It is easier to build new.
Right.
It's less disruptive to build new. You close one down and you move into the next one that's completely done. So renovations generally take longer. They're stretched out a little bit. Just like we're dealing with the construction of the Miller Electric Center. The football team's a little inconvenienced right now because they're having to practice each and every day on the game field. Now, they really like it so far. The players love it. I think it adds a good atmosphere. But that's something that will not be necessary to do once we get the new facility open. And then even things like this studio right here will be over in the Miller Electric Center. We'll have better accommodations for the media, significantly better accommodations for our players. And hopefully all of that will lead to a better development process, easier coaching, and more wins to come.
So much going on right now. Everyone wants to know about the Shipyards and the Four Seasons. Where is that project right now?
Well, we're moving ahead. There's no question. We've had to deal with a bushel full of issues, but anyone who's involved in construction these days, whether you're doing a renovation at your house or you're building a new home, you know how difficult it is. And that's a result of so many things that are happening. It's really a unique time. You have this unprecedented level of inflation. You have the remnants of COVID that are still impacting, supply chain as it relates to getting materials. You have the financial market unrest, which is related to some of the global uncertainties that we're dealing with right now. And you have a real difficult time as it relates to what's happening in the construction industry. You've got so much work that's out there. You don't have enough labor to be able to support that work. And it makes it difficult to be able to get a healthy number, in many cases, a healthy number of subcontractors to bid on your work. All of those things combined drive cost up. And you have to deal with that. It's not a condition that's going to last forever, but it is. It's something we've been dealing with. But again, this project is so important to Shad. It's so important to his belief of something that can be a real catalyst to help downtown Jacksonville realize its full potential, and to the degree that Jacksonville fulfills its full potential as it relates to people working here, people visiting here, people living here. If those things are all addressed, that has great benefits to the Jacksonville Jaguars and our long-term stability here in Northeast Florida, which is the Shad's stated goal from day one.
Yeah, my neighbor was planning to build a garage 2 years ago, and he decided not to because of the cost. That's not really an option for you.
Well, it is. It's an option for a lot of people. A lot of projects are canceled.
Right.
Because as the costs go up, the returns go down, but this project is much more than just an economic decision. By Shad, it's something that he believes can go a long way in spurring even more development downtown by other developers, not by us, but by other developers.
You've been leading the effort now for a decade. You have a long history in sports, going back to the Cardinals and baseball. The last 10 years have been really eventful, haven't they? I mean, you look at London and COVID and the Shipyards, and is it what you thought it might be, or? Are you where you thought you might be? I guess is a better way to ask it.
Well, that's really interesting, and you did mention Fulham and
Right.
Daly's Place and the music activities that we're doing. I am blown away with the quality of the staff that we have. I never thought that we'd be able to build such a great collection of committed men and women to work here. We inherited a lot of great employees to begin with, but we've been able to supplement that with many others. So I'm really, really pleased with the quality of our staff. I didn't really understand the scale of Shad's ambition and commitment to growth, and that has been probably the most interesting thing of my job. Certainly, has been Shad's constant support of efforts to grow the franchise and lead to the stability that I think we are enjoying. So all those things you mentioned, it makes it more interesting. If you're on the business side here, nobody wants to just be going through the motions of just day-to-day business of football. So it's really interesting. You've seen the growth on your guys' side of the business in terms of the digital platforms that have been built. So, obviously, no one is pleased with what our performance has been on the field. But I think, maybe because it's been 10 years, maybe we're sort of just convincing ourselves that, it's now is maybe our time. There's a really high level of confidence, and I chalked that up to Doug and the calming impact he has had on the organization. It's just things are really so normal. There's no surprises, and it's I give him and Trent all the credit in the world to not get distracted by all of the noise that came out of the end of last year and all of the rhetoric during the offseason. And you couldn't turn on the radio without 9 out of 10 people ridiculing the organization. I understand fans' right to express their feelings, and they do that because they care. When you should get concerned is when there's people that are just quiet, and they just stop caring. So, look, we're in the criticism business. Unfortunately, we've probably gotten pretty good at it for good reason. But I think, but I really think, and I don't think I'm just talking myself into this, because I think it's shared throughout the building. I think better days are coming, and they're going to come soon.
Totally agree. We're excited for all the newness. We all notice the calming presence of Coach Peterson and Trent Baalke. It's been a nice change.
Have you read the coach's book?
I have. I did read it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It gives you good insight into him.
Yeah, it sort of gave me flashbacks to Gillette Stadium in the AFC Championship game. But other than that, reminded me of that, how close we were. And again, that's ancient history. But things can happen quickly in the NFL. We saw it happen with Cincinnati. Kansas City came in here for the first game. I guess it was 4 years ago. They had the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yep.
Remember that? They picked, I guess, the offensive lineman Fisher. So things can happen in a hurry if you have a quarterback, and I think there's a high level of confidence that
we do.
That we do.
He's the guy. Yes. Well, Mark Lamping, thank you so much for joining us on Jaguars Drive
Thank
Time.
you, Mark.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Stay with us here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 300s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-431-0006 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
When we come to work in the morning, we don't think about all the money we've won against big tobacco, big pharma, or the insurance industry. That's in the past. Life faces forward, and so do we. It's been said, to live in the past is to die in the present. What really matters is what we can do for you and your family right now, right this second. So call us, Farah and Farah, here for you, here for good. Jacksonville.
The incredible 2022 season at Daly's Place continues. This summer, see the likes of Tedeschi Trucks Band, Train, Keith Urban, and much more. For a full list of shows and to get tickets, visit dailysplace.com. We're back, Jaguars Drive Time on a Tuesday, our last show of the offseason. Thank you to Mark Lamping for joining us. Great insight on this facility that's being built very quickly in the parking lot. And it is time for Ashlyn Ask, getting back on the football field for some questions about this team. Ashlyn Ask, number 1. Fellas, who needs a bigger season this upcoming year? Laviska Shenault or K'Lavon Chaisson? Laviska Shenault, both of these guys really ridiculed and, judged for their lack of success so far this year, especially with both of them being high draft picks. So who would you say needs a bigger year in 2022?
I'm a little distracted. I thought Brian was leaving there for a minute.
No,
Yeah.
We might have forgotten the whiteboard, but we have them. Brian, go for it.
I was just improvising. I'll say K'Lavon. I think the Jaguars have dramatically upgraded both wide receiver and at pass rushing defensive end. But I just get the sense that, when you bring in Travon Walker to go with Josh Allen, if you want a spot here, you need to prove it. And Shenault is a guy who can do a bunch of different things. We saw him returning punts, I think, one day during OTAs. I just don't know that the pressure's on him like it is on to get after the quarterback. So I'll say Chaisson.
Yeah, I'll go with Viska. I guess because he went with K'Lavon. I don't know that either of them needs it bigger than the other. I think they both need big seasons. They both need to show what they're going to be in the NFL. And I think this is the third year for both of them. I think this is an important year for both of them to be in the league long term. I mean, Chaisson has talent. He has not had an impact here and hasn't really shown that he's a big-time NFL player yet. I think the same is probably true of Viska. He's had some moments. What is he going to be in the NFL? So I'll go with Viska for the sake of argument. I think they both need years. I think they both need to prove they're going to be long-term NFL players. And I hope they are. I like both of them a lot. They're two of the most pleasant kids I've dealt with in a long, long time. I hope it works out for them, but they need years where they show they're NFL players.
They do. And I think especially for Laviska Shenault, he is the person who realizes that the most. He's been here every single day. He was there yesterday when he didn't have to be. You sense this sense of hungriness with him, and I think he very much so realizes the ridicule of him, and I think he definitely is putting the work in to get where he wants to be.
Yeah, I don't think want to is a problem for either of these guys. I think it's a tough league, and it's important years for them.
Yes, it is. All right, Ashlyn asks number 2. This, of course, is based on the offensive package you run and will change week to week. But with 4 options right now at running back, let's go to week 6. We are week 6. It is pregame. Who is the starting running back mid-season? John.
I'll go with J-Rob. I think James Robinson is the proven running back on this team. I think if he's healthy and if he's who he's been when he's been at his best his first 2 years, I think he's the starting running back. And then if that scenario happens, then I think Etienne is your jack of all trades and is playing like a 12th or 13th starter, but I think he's in the lineup.
Snoop Connor.
Oh.
Nope. Yep.
Curveball.
Well, and here's why. We haven't seen Robinson yet. The Achilles is a serious injury. What has he had? 6 months to recover? I don't know that we'll see much of him until maybe we get into the later part of the season.
Playoff time.
Then I think Etienne is still obviously. I think he's a weapon. I don't know that you're going to line him up in the backfield and run him like a running back every play.
Right.
Connor's a big, strong, strapping, young legs kind of guy, and you might see him in the lineup doing more than you would have expected. I could have gone with Rock Armstead, too, because he's carried the ball a lot out there, and he's a veteran, a guy you could have. I just think we've said it all spring long, so why change? The injury that Etienne suffered and the injury that James Robinson suffered are injuries that can be career-ending for running backs, and both of them have to get over it. So I'll go with the young legs and say Connor in week 6.
Who's the healthy one? Makes sense. All right, Ashlyn asks number 3, our final one, looking at this defense. Who is the starting safety week 1? Now, you free safety, strong safety, obviously. 4 options: Rayshawn Jenkins, Andre Cisco, Andrew Wingard, and Daniel Thomas. Who are we thinking is in the starting lineup as of right now, week 1?
Well, I'll go with Cisco and Rayshawn Jenkins. I mean, I think if they're healthy, that's your combination. That's who they want it to be. They I think are the most talented of the foursome. So I'm going to go with those 2.
Well, they've sung the praises of Cisco, and I didn't have another paper towel, so I'm not going to use that. Anybody you've asked about Cisco, they've talked about his intellect. They've talked about his athleticism. So I think he's one of them. And I would agree, Rayshawn's a guy they've paid a lot of money to. He's got all the measurables you'd want. But I'm a fan of Daniel Thomas, and I have been since the moment that he got into the lineup in Houston a couple of years ago. I think he is a terrific player. I think he's overlooked in many respects. He had the broken arm. Remember, he had that interception against the Steelers.
Yep.
And then broke his arm. And we didn't see him again his rookie season. Last year, which was a disaster in so many respects. I have a sense that he's going to work his way into a position where people can be talking about him when the season begins.
What about Dewey? Your guy, John.
Dewey will be on the team. No, I mean, I think he'll be a value special teams guy and a guy who's got experience in the starting lineup if he has to play because of injury. He has proven that that slot and that thinking about him wrong before.
He's hung on. He's the guy we're always trying to replace.
Games last year. Yeah. So, is it absurd to think he might start? No, he started last year and nobody thought he would.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does start, it's a failure for Cisco. Isn't what he's supposed to be then?
Right.
I mean, that's why you drafted him.
Cisco and Rayshawn are the guys that I'm going with chalk here. These are the guys everybody expects to start. I think they will start.
Mm-hmm. And there you have it. That is Ashlyn Ass. When we come back, some closing thoughts here on the Jaguars Digital Network. Fans like you have been told that going all out is going too far. But fans like you know better. You're the kind of fan who loves the team as much as your pet, who paints yourself for game days and dyes your pet's fur to match. You are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Need pest control that's safe and actually works? Then look no further than Jaguar's proud partner, Kingfish Pest Control. Kingfish is family-owned and has thousands of 5-star customer reviews for good reason. Their high level of customer care and quality service is off the charts. They're the leaders in pest control technology, using the industry's latest and greatest pest application equipment and products. They'll even email a picture of the technician who'll be coming to your home. Let the pros tackle the pest in your home. Go to kingfishpest.com. That's kingfishpest.com.
Join the Jaguars at all 9 home games this season for only $299. Be there for every big matchup in 2022 by securing your Prowl Pass now. To lock in your seats, visit jaguars.com/prowl or call 904-633-2000. Back on Jaguars Drive Time for one more segment before we head into the offseason for good. About a month break here on our Jaguars digital network of no shows. That's because the football team is not on the field and we wouldn't really have much to talk about, except our personal lives, which I don't think anyone wants.
No, nobody wants that.
No one wants that. But, John, you have a big Ozone podcast guest before we take our summer break, yeah?
I do. The plan now is Travon Walker, Sparkles, did you call him, will be on the show this week. So I'm hoping that comes to being, and I think it'll be interesting. I've talked to him on Zoom or in press conference situations. Mm-hmm. Haven't had a chance to get to know him. He seems like a kid. My impression of him is maybe not as outgoing, doesn't love the media, but very engaging, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him.
Yeah, maybe in a podcast sense when you don't have 20 reporters around you and a camera shoved in your face, might be a little more comfortable for you.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. Brian, summer plans.
Chasing kids, football camps all over the Southeast, that kind of stuff. Retreat to the mountains, get out of it a little bit.
Love it.
The stuff that we normally do. Also spending some time with some of the Jags alumni. Mm-hmm. And I had a nice conversation with Montel Owens, who people might remember as a 3-time Pro Bowler, a guy who showed up as an undrafted rookie running back and became maybe the best special teams player this franchise has ever had. It's nice to see him back in Jacksonville, growing family, member of the community, and Jags fans can expect to see and hear from him and a lot of other guys that they may have misplaced in their mind over the last couple of years. When we get to the fall.
Love it. Well, we will stay tuned for that. Thank you all for tuning in to Jaguars Drive Time every single week this offseason. It has certainly been an eventful offseason, and we're looking forward to a little break here, about a month break. So we will see you in late July. Thank you for tuning in, and stay with us on Jaguars.com.